What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Hit or Miss Aquariums, and I got a real simple one for you today. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's just all about syringes and how to measure appropriately with the different types of syringes that you have. Maybe you're a beginner, maybe you're an advanced aquarist, maybe you're just looking for something to watch. I don't know, but check it out. I know that I made some mistakes when I first started reefing, and then hopefully, you know, if you watch this, you can realize there's a right way and a wrong way to do this. It's very easy to get confused if you second guess yourself like I do a lot. As you can see here, this is my first aquarium. I'll cover that in a little bit. This is my BioCube 32. Love this thing. It's great. It sits in my living room. But my centerpiece, my showpiece, is my 120 downstairs, which we'll get into in another video. But I hope you guys are ready because we are going to learn today. We'll catch you guys soon. Bye. So let's take a look at this. I have two different types of 1 milliliter syringes here. This one, you can see it has the stopper that's all the way down at the bottom, has a neoprene tip in it, so when you draw it back, there won't be any air in this, okay? So the first point I always want to make is this rubber part is called the stopper, and should always be as close to the tip as possible whenever you're drawing liquid out. You never want to start right here. It may seem, you know, like a no-brainer for some people, but I'm sure, you know, maybe one time I've done it at least where it was only at, like, you know, there instead of all the way down at the bottom. And next thing you know, my readings are off. So always make sure that you just press this in as far as it will go before you draw out. And then the overarching theory here is going to be that no matter what happens, what tip you have on here, anything, the amount of liquid that is going to be in here, provided that you don't like try to rip the plunger back as quickly as possible and you do a smooth draw, is always going to be matched by wherever the end of this plunger stops. So let's take this into consideration. We have the 1 milliliter, pretty common. This is a little bit nicer because it's got that neoprene tip. This is just regular, you know, KH liquid from one of my test kits. I just use it because it's orange. So we're going to draw this all the way back to what 1 milliliter should be. Okay, so as you see there, you got a nice full syringe. You have no air bubbles at all in there. And that's really nice. That's a nice thing to have if you have one of these 1 milliliter syringes. But let's be honest, a lot of places do not ship these 1 milliliter syringes. They're probably a little bit more expensive. What you typically get is something like this that does not have the neoprene in the tip. It just has the stopper, and then you have this little bit of air in here. So as you draw up and through the liquid, you'll notice that the plunger is further back, if you will, than the liquid. And so the reason for that is because of the air that's in the tip of that stopper. So you want to account for that. And the way that you do that is just by reading it from the plunger. A lot of people, they see this and they're like, well, the liquid is at, you know, a certain level. That's where I should be taking the reading from. But that's not correct. The plunger is ultimately the correct place. So let's just say we were going to do a 1 milliliter reading. We draw it all the way back. And this is the correct way. This is going everywhere, sorry, but this is the correct way to read it. So as you can see, if it'll focus, the plunger is all the way at the 1 milliliter mark, but there's air in there. There's air in there about a half a milliliter, and that is accounting for the tip of this. So when we expel all of this, there won't be any thing left in the tip of that. I mean, there's a tiny little bit, but really not very much at all. Okay, and actually now it's already gone. So that is the first point. Always go by the plunger, not where the liquid level is, because in that situation, as you can see, if you were just doing that reading, you were going to be off by half a milliliter, which can be a big deal in these titrations. It could be the difference between having to dose something extra and not. So let's look at, this is a common tip that comes from the Hanna checkers when you're doing things like alkalinity testing and things like that. So if you look at this, there is no liquid in the syringe at all. All the liquid is actually in the the tip of this. So that is, but again, the plunger, which started it all the way at the bottom, was drawn back to 1 milliliter, and so I am confident that there is 1 milliliter of liquid in here. So it just has a much larger air bubble in there because of the fact that there's a lot more air between the tip of this and where the plunger currently sits. And the same thing is true, like, you know, let's just say, well, it won't fit on there, but let's look at something else here. This is a typical tip that you see. It's kind of hard to see that because it's clear, but you see from a like a Red Sea titration program. You know, you put the little vial in the bottom of here, you put this in here, you put a drop in, and then you shake it, you put a drop in and you shake it. This is kind of what you see for almost all of those tests. And again, the same principle. You have air that's in the tip of this, and as you draw it back, that air is going to be trapped in here. And so again, you want to always measure from where the plunger is and not where the liquid is. And this was a hard concept for me. I mean, I'm not the dumbest person in the world, but I'm also not the smartest, so maybe this will help some people. But see, I was thinking in this situation, well, why shouldn't I be measuring from where the liquid is? The liquid says it's only at, you know, 0.8 milliliters, when the actual plunger says it's at 1 milliliter. But there's liquid in the tip now where there wasn't obviously any before. So that's just a real quick kind of overview. Remember, the big takeaway from this is, you know, always measure, always start with the plunger at the bottom, and always measure from where the plunger is whenever you're putting anything in there. So hopefully this helps. Alright guys, that was it. I hope you really enjoyed the video. It's so easy to miss, you know, something very easily or mess something up like that. And I know that for me it was the difference between having my nitrates where they needed to be or too high. I made that mistake and I had an epiphany one day and was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this wrong the whole time. I was measuring from where the liquid was instead of the stopper. So just remember, always look for that stopper, and that's where you really want to take your measurement from, not where the actual liquid is. So hopefully this helps some guys out, some new guys, maybe some guys that have been in this for a while and just gave up and said, oh, my nitrates are always going to be high. Maybe they're not really that high. Please stay tuned. Please like and subscribe below if you like the video. I'm going to set another video out probably a little bit later about my 120 tank, so you guys can meet that for the first time, and there's going to be more videos coming up here soon. Thanks so much guys, hope you have a great day. We'll catch you later.